Hello everyone, I'm Lynn from Studio Kato and I am so happy to be back on the Alex Syberia Designs YouTube channel for a new video. Today we are celebrating the new August release with a video hop, so make sure you check out the description down below for all of the details on how to enter, how to win one of 4 gift cards, and how you can see all of the inspiration from all of the design team members participating in this hop today. I'm going to make a card with the birthday bouquet stamp today. I have an A2 size panel in my Misty here. This is Nina Solar White cardstock, and I am using VersaFine Onyx Black ink to stamp this flower image onto my card. I am going to stamp this twice just to make sure it has a nice impression everywhere, and then I am going to be a little reckless. So I am going to stamp again in a different spot. So I'm going to put my card in a different spot as well, so the stamp can hang over another edge of the card. And I am not going to clean my stamp in between. I don't recommend doing this. I was very careful putting my stamp down, but it could have gone wrong very easily, and then I would have had to start over. I was very careful here, and I didn't move it once it touched the paper, so that was good. But yeah, if you want to do this without cleaning your stamp in between, put a piece of acetate over your card panel, line up your stamp, pick it up with the Misty, remove the piece of acetate and just stamp it. That will keep all of the icky ink on the acetate and while you're positioning your stamp, and yeah, you can easily clean that off later. I was planning on doing that and showing that trick, and then I couldn't find a piece of acetate nearby and I grew impatient and I just did it without. But yeah, don't recommend that. I sprinkled on some clear embossing powder from WOW, and I'm heat setting that with the WOW Jewels BT tool as well. And then I am going to be coloring these flowers in with the coordinating stencils. So for these flowers, there are coordinating dies and coordinating stencils available separately. I love coordinating stencils, even though I really like coloring. I think coordinating stencils are a great tool to learn how to color. It's a really easy way or a quick way to try out new color combinations, and it's also a really fun way to see how designers like Alex Syberia place the shadows in these images. So it's a really good example, and I think it's easier to see when you're putting it together with the stencil than just trying to see how the shadows come together in an already finished card from someone else. So yeah, I think layering stencils are a great invention and I love using them. I am going to be ink blending all of these flowers. I'm going to be doing a little bit of masking here and there so I can get a ton of colors in without blending over other parts of the image. So for example, these little bluebell shaped, I don't know names of flowers, guys, but these little bluebell shaped thingies, I'm going to be coloring in blue and purple, just a tiny little bit of blue, and then I'm going to shade it over with purple, but I didn't want too much of a punchy purple, if you know what I mean. So that's why I used 2 inks on top of each other there. And each of these stencils has 2 layers to them. So each stencil has two ways to line it up with the image, and one is the shading layer for the first one. So I'm actually going to be doing all of the stencils that do the first layer of parts of the image first, and then I'm going to add the shading all later on. I just like working that way. I like to get all of my colors down so I know which colors go where, and then the shading comes together very easily. Now, I'm not always showing it, but I am moving that stencil as well and making sure to color the same flowers in the same color on on the top corner of the image as well, because I stamped it twice. So yeah, I'm making sure to do that. I also, for that first stencil layer with the white open spaces for the roses, for example, I do make sure to have some variation in my ink blending, because there is really only 2 layers to this stencil, or to each flower. So there's not a ton of shading for each flower, just really 1 layer of shading. To add a little bit more, I make sure to have some darker spots in my ink blending for the first layer as well. So I just make sure to fade that out from dark to light in the first layer, and then I do the second layer on top. It's just so satisfying to see all of that come together, all of that ink blending. It does take a little bit of time. I think this ink blending took me 20 minutes with all of the different colors and all of the different stencil layers, lining them up and masking some parts of the image. But it's so relaxing to do. Just listen to a podcast or watch a Jennifer McGuire video or yeah, an audiobook, some music. It's so relaxing. I've missed this. I haven't been crafting a ton lately, but this brought me back now. I think I'm obsessed again. So I am going to finish all of that ink blending. We're nearly finished now. And once that's all done, I am going to do a fun little die cutting trick, because this is such a great background. Like, not to toot my own horn, the stencils and the stamps do a lot of the work here, but I just love the color so much. I didn't want to add more color to it or distract from it with like a black sentiment or something like that, or a glittery sentiment, which is what I normally would do. So I'm going to do a fun die cutting trick later, so the sentiment isn't going to distract too much from the background or from the colors of the background. So here it is. This is a Good Day quilted rectangles die set. So it has 2 basic rectangle dies with some beautiful stitched detail all the way around the edges. I'm going to use the smallest of those to trim my panel a little smaller. And I'm also going to be using the shadow layer and the scripty layer of the word die included, which says "Have a good day." So I'm going to cut all 2 of those layers at once from the ink blended panel. And you're going to see it come together. It's so fun. I am going to use a piece of craft cardstock to cover my white card base, just a A2 size panel. And I do this so I don't waste too much colored cardstock. I always cut a panel of colored cardstock instead of making a card base of colored cardstock. I'm going to use some foam tape to prop up the flower panel with foam tape. I mentioned the foam tape already. And this is going to really make it stand out nicely from that craft cardstock. There's a nice border all the way around. And then with the shadow layer cut out, I can just place the scripty layer of the sentiment in between, in the space left by the shadow layer. And it's going to leave that craft border around the sentiment. But it's so pretty. So it's basically a negative space for the shadow layer, and then you use the background to cut your sentiment from. It's so fun. I really like doing this. I think it's very elegant to have the background or the flower design continue on over the sentiment. It's a great thing to do with bolder sentiments. I really like it. I did finish this up with some pearls. And I think that gave it the finishing touch it needed. It was a little bit bare at this point. But yeah, a little bling goes a long way. I really like how this card came together. I hope you like it too. Check out the new release. All of the relevant links will be in the description below. Make sure you watch all of the videos in the hub. Leave comments for a chance to win one of the 4 gift cards. And yeah, enjoy all of the inspiration you're going to get in this video hub. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!